And we are live. What's up, everybody? Michigan snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. What in the world was going on tonight? Oh, man. That was terrifying. Michigan would face their biggest deficit of the year. I said Northwestern in my video this morning. If you watched it, I said Michigan has more talent, but going on the road in the Big Ten is tough. And Northwestern are not no slouch. They don't have a great record. They've had some bad games, but they do have the Big Ten leading scorer. They have some players that can get hot, and that can be a tough place to play. And Michigan found out quick they were in for a slobber knocker. They got down big, but in the end, we'll talk all about how it happened. But in the end, Michigan was able to win by double digits, 87-75. They move on to 23-1, 13-1 in the Big Ten, 2-game cushion over Illinois, Northwestern, Michigan State. And we're sitting pretty, and they needed this win. They could not afford to trip up here with the gauntlet they have coming up starting Saturday with UCLA. They have a lot of tough games. They needed this one. They could not afford to lose this one. And I also think that is another good reminder. They seem to have learned their lessons before this game, and they seem to be back on track. But then it's almost like they get too much on track, and things are coming easy to them again because they're playing their brand, and then they come out lazy. They come out a little sloppy, lots of turnovers. Shots aren't falling. They're not playing great defense. Shots are falling for the other team. Northwestern's crowd gets into it. And next thing you know, they're down double digits most of the game until you get later, halfway through the second half. And then Michigan goes on some runs. They have some people step up, and we'll talk all about it. But I just want to shout out everyone in the live right now with me. Thanks for being here. I know it's late, so I appreciate you popping in and hanging out. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the game. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's chat. So Brian Soul is here. Thanks for being here, Brian. They play like this, they won't get by the Sweet 16. I agree. Good gravy, Brian. You're correct. Yeah. I don't give them much credit at all. I'm saying up until this game started, it seemed like they learned their lesson from Wisconsin and Penn State, and they finally seem to get back. But it seems like when things start going really well, they just think things are going to work out. But I will say that second half of the second half, they finally looked like them. But they got to play 40 minutes. They can't play 10. They won, but they finally locked in defense down the stretch there. Northwestern's shots weren't falling. Some of it probably just went cold. Some of it was our defense. We stopped making turnovers. A lot of that was because LJ Kaysen came in and really stepped up. He gets my game ball for this game. We'll talk about stats and everything in a minute, but he came in and was a steadying presence, really making big shots, making big passes, not turning the ball over. Cadeau did not have a great stretch there in the first half. Mara turned it over quite a bit again, which was something that we hadn't seen for a couple games. But down the stretch, they played much better defense. They passed the ball. They shared the ball. They didn't turn it over. And the shots started to fall. And that's why this team is so talented. If they play hard, and eventually the shots will fall. But you would like to see them come out less flat, less sloppy, because if this was another team besides Northwestern like this, Northwestern has Martinelli. They have their freshman point guard Walsh. They have some really good players, but they don't have a whole team of players that are really good, like some of the other teams Michigan's going to face. And they cannot come out lazy and sloppy like that, or it is going to bite them in the butt. I agree with you, Brian. Oh, my thing still says Bearded Book Piece in the corner. If anyone's wondering, Brian checked out my other channel. I talk about books. So that's... I'll have to check that out. Let me look here. Yeah, it's on this channel. In my name. Yeah. Good catch. Good catch. Rookie mistake. Thanks for telling me that, man. Let's change that real quick. So if anyone likes books, go ahead and check out Bearded Book Beast. but thanks for that catch. Let's change that right now. That's why I probably need to just pony up and pay to become a member of this EV Mux, because then I can have different things instead of having to use one and change it. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about Michigan basketball again. They won despite themselves. But again, they showed down the stretch what they're capable of. But we need them to show that 40 minutes, because that's what they had gotten back to doing. And they were really getting to a good place. So this game does give me pause. We'll talk about a lot of things, but let's look at the stats first. I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll take a look at the team stats, player stats, all of the things. So first up here, let's see. We got, I'm going to go back over here, make sure that I put it in the right spot. Oh, here it is. Let's zoom in on it so you guys can see it better. All right, so we got, let's see, let's do team stats first, then we'll talk about players. So, field goal percentage, whew, I'm surprised they ended up with 43, because that was rough. Somehow we shot better than Northwestern overall. They were really having a lot of luck early, but then later on, it was pretty rough. But they went cold down the stretch, which helped us out a lot. Some of it was our defense, but I think they just shots are they're it's just going to happen, and it worked out in our favor. But we did end up shooting better slightly on 3-point and free throws, but I mean not free throws. No, that is a problem we're going to talk about. 3-point and 2-point field goal percentage. We did slightly shoot better, but not nearly good enough. Especially something that they had been doing well is when the shots weren't falling, they played really good defense, and then it didn't matter. They were able to hang in there, keep their lead, and then when they started falling, just pull away. And in the end, they were able to win and pull away. But I mean, you get a team that doesn't go cold like that. I don't know. So free throws though is an issue. 19 of 27. That's just turnovers and missing free throws you cannot do when you're the number 2 team in the country. That's a level of consistency that you have to have. We cannot do that. Rebounds, I did out rebound them again, offensive and defensive. That was good. We did have a lot of assists. A lot of that came in the second half, but that was good. We had some blocks, so did they. But turnovers, 12 turnovers. You know, we had been keeping it under 10 for a lot of the games lately, and this time we got over. The second half was excellent, especially the second half of the second half. But early in the first half, turnovers, sloppy play, poor shot selection, and just missing shots. Not great defense, missing free throws. It was just whatever you want to pick. It was not going Michigan's way, to their own fault. And then let's see, points in the paint, we won, so that was good. The inside game, we did in the end have the advantage there, and that did help us win. Fouls. Now let's talk real quick about and we only led the game for 21%. That's wild. But let's talk about that foul on Mara. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna say, like, it was a foul, yes, but I don't think it was flagrant. I think the refs kind of placated to the crowd a little bit and probably a little makeup stuff. But that was a bummer because we were on a run, and I thought, oh gosh, I hope this doesn't give them momentum back, because then they get the 2 buckets and the ball back and they score again, and that's a big swing. But Michigan was able to recover from that. But what I saw was Mara go up and foul, but his arms came down because Martinelli's knee was going right into a very sensitive area. At first, I thought it was just into his gut, but it was definitely going somewhere else. And he brought his arms down to guard himself. I mean, we've watched Mara play, he still needs to get that aggressive mean streak. So he's not somebody that's going to be flagrant fouling people. So I think that one was a little overblown. And I don't know why Martinelli got so upset after watching. If you're a Pistons fan, I was waiting to see if we're going to have a repeat of that. But so there you go. There's the team stats. Let's take a look at player stats real quick here. Let's look at the box score. So Yaxel had 15 points. He didn't have a great first half either. He did not shoot very good from 3-point line. But he was able to make an impact down the stretch with rebounding, defense, and getting those 15 points. Morris Johnson, solid again. He usually is. Mara had a much better end to the game than he did at the beginning of the game, so it was a tale of two halves for him. Cadeau just had an off game. He's been playing great, so I think he'll be fine. But luckily, Kaysen stepped up, man. He stepped up to the plate big time. Burnett was okay. Cheddar didn't do much, but Kaysen did a lot. Gale had some quality minutes off the bench that really helped. And then McKinney solid again. I got real worried at the end there when he slipped in that drink. I was a little concerned. But yeah. Brian makes a good point here. He says that Mara was 1 of 6 on the free throws. Yes, they need to. I mean, he was working on his 3-pointers. He needs to work on his free throws because that is a problem. But I did like that he was talking a lot of trash and looked a little aggressive, especially in the second half. And getting excited after big plays. You want to see that out of him. He's got the size and the talent, but he's got to get that killer mentality. And Cub Kid, I agree. I do love Mara, but he does. Every time you think he figures things out, he has a half like the first half today where it's like, ooh. But a lot of talent still. We just, I mean, when things are on, this team is like unstoppable. But when things are off, whew, not so much. All right, let's take a look at the schedule real quick here before we start talking about some more things. There it goes. So, like I said, they've got a gauntlet coming up here. We got UCLA on Saturday. Then they have to play at Purdue. Then they play Duke. Then they got Minnesota, who, let's not forget that Minnesota knocked off Michigan State. They beat some other good teams. Like luckily that's home at the Chrysler Center, so that will be helpful. But let's not forget that is not an easy team to beat. Then they got Illinois. Then they got Iowa at Iowa. That's always tough to play at Iowa. And then we finish off with Michigan State at home. So what happened tonight for 30 minutes out of the 40 cannot happen in any of these games, or they're going to be in trouble, especially with Purdue, Duke, Illinois, and Michigan State. They're going to have to play a full game. And I mean, they know that. Dusty May knows that. So hopefully this can be another learning lesson for them. But if you want to feel better, let's take a look at the standings here. Michigan now is 23-1, 13-1 in the Big Ten. So they've got a nice 2-game cushion over everybody. So we're in a good spot, but to keep in this good spot, they need to finish strong. And they're going to have to they cannot take any team lightly. Northwestern has a terrible record. And like I said, they've had bad games, but you've got to respect all these teams that anybody can beat you if you're not giving your full effort. And I think they finally did at the end, like I said, but man, they're better than that. So let's hope they learn from this. I'm going to go back to this. There we go. And we'll put the box score on there. All right. So again, Michigan wins 87-75. And the good thing is if the casual college basketball fans see the score, they're like, oh, Michigan won by double digits again. Little do they know that we were down by double digits most of the game. But I'm sure we're going to hear it from a lot of Sparty fans and a lot of the other teams that are closely following, waiting for us to trip up. But hey, at the end of the day, as I've said after every game that Michigan wins, the mantra, the most important thing is just win, baby. And they just won. This is a game. Some of those teams under Juwan Howard, teams in the past, when you're having this bad of a night where you come out a little lackadaisical, a little lazy, a little sloppy, and you get hit in the mouth and you get down by double digits, you fold, and that's it. It's just not our night. Moving on. But this team was getting rolled even halfway through the second half when you're down to 11, 12 minutes left. And then they just start making runs. They start going on runs, and things just turn around. Uh, so I mean, you got to feel good about that. This team literally is never out of it. But they also should not put themselves in a position to be in that spot. So that's the frustrating part about it. But I do feel good about this team knowing, like, even if they're playing bad, just wait because they have a chance. But if they play their game, if they play good defense, if they keep the intensity up, if they share the ball, and if they do all those things and they make their free throws, whether their 3-point shots are falling or not, whether their field goal percentage is low or high, if they do all those other things, they're not going to get in a big hole and have to, get out of it. But and I agree, Brian. I was just going to say that next. And the other cool thing is they keep having guys step up. When one's down, one steps up. So last week, Burnett had that amazing game, and then Cadeau had some great games. And then tonight, Cadeau was not good, and Burnett was not super existent. But then Kaysen comes in, McKinney steps up. Roddy Gale brings the energy, and he stepped up, made some big plays. So yeah, that's what's cool is this team loves each other. They play well together, and like you've got so much talent on this team. If someone's needs to step up, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna, and that's what I love. I agree 100%. But let's just not have this happen anymore. Because yeah, we don't have any gimme games anymore. The closest we have are Minnesota and Iowa, and they're not really gimme games. So those are going to be tough. And if we play like this, they're all going to be really tough. And if we play like this against the other teams we have left, it's going to get ugly, and we don't want that. So hopefully Michigan learns a lesson. They come out playing hard from the get-go, and they just cannot. They got to control what they can control. That's the best advice of life, right? Control what you can control. Worry about what you can control. What they can control is their effort, their energy, their intensity. They can control keeping turnovers down. They may not be able to control if their shots are going in. If you can have a wide open shot, have a beautiful stroke, and it just doesn't find the net. But if you play good defense, you're not turning the ball over, you have the right attitude, and you're high energy, things are going to work out for this team. And they didn't do that in the first half. Yeah, I agree. Burnett had that foul trouble early, and it just threw off his night. I mean, he finished with kind of his solid stat line that he usually has, but he didn't make an impact in the full game like he normally does, just because of that foul trouble. And free throws worry me, because that's been the problem with this team all year at times, is not making their free throws. So they gotta have that down, because that's gonna be big in some of these games and in the tournament. They're gonna get in a spot where they got to make their free throws to win the game, and oof, especially we're gonna have a hack a shack with Mara if he's shooting free throws that bad. He has a good shooting stroke, and so I don't know. I don't know what it is about free throws, but they look ugly right now. So he's got to work on that real quick. But overall, we won. We won again. We are 23-1, 13-1 in the Big Ten. So this is just, it's sour grapes on my part, picking through the weeds. At the end of the day, we won, even when we did not have a good game at all, and that's what matters, and that's what's important. So I'm still excited. I still love this team, but I think it's because we've seen them hitting on all cylinders. So when we see a game where they self-inflict a bad game on themselves, it's just like, come on, guys, we know what you can do. You're better than that. So I think that's where the frustration comes from. But then you take a step back and you're like, hey, they could have lost, and they didn't. They won. And a lot of teams would kill to be having the season we're having and getting to be a fan and watch it. We're pretty lucky, so it's pretty awesome. So I'm happy, but it would have been nice to see just a masterclass, perfect game from them going into. But maybe this is what they needed before this very tough stretch. Maybe they needed another wake up call to say, hey, I know you've been playing good lately, but anybody can beat you, including a team with a losing record that you took lightly. You better not do that against these other good teams. So, uh, yeah, and I just saw that stat. He's got to 50 wins. I think it was in 60 games with Michigan. Second fastest coach in the Big Ten to get to 50 wins with his new team. So we're blessed to have this coach, Dusty May, too. He is a beast. Love the way he coaches, and he just always seems to have the right adjustment, timeout at the right time, sub at the right time. We're always going to question it sitting in our chairs when things aren't going well, but I trust him to do what he has to do to put them in a spot to win the game, and then it's up to the players. And tonight, they rose to the occasion finally later on. And yeah, I was getting a little worried, guys, about this because I I did have on my other channel. I had an interview that Brian was in the live chat for, and I was just checking the score and I was watching it on my phone during the interview, and I was like, "Oh, good grief! It's going to be a terrible post game chat." The only I didn't do one after Wisconsin because it was a day game and I had stuff going with the fam. So every post game chat I've done has been a win, and I was like, "Oh boy, this is going to be an ugly one to talk about," but thank goodness they pulled it out and won. It makes it a little bit easier. Um, and yeah, here we go. Arizona lost. I mean, that's the other thing. They lost. Um, so anybody can lose on any night. So yeah, if we beat UCLA next week when the rankings come out, we should be number one. I agree. You can't. I mean, on paper, this was a double digit win on the road in the Big Ten. So you can't really hold it against Michigan. It's not like they eked it out at the very very end and only won by a bucket or something. They still won by double digits, which is wild. So I agree, Brian. I think if we can beat UCLA, which actually would be awesome too for confidence, because UCLA is a really good team. Let me show you again the standings. Let's look at them from the view of who we're getting ready to play. Right, we got UCLA coming up right here, 9-4 in the Big Ten, so they're like right there behind all those teams I mentioned that have been at the top, right behind us. So they're very good. They're the same record as Wisconsin, who beat us, so we cannot take them lightly. They've won a couple in a row. I talked about how we have to play. Well, we got to go at Purdue, so here they're way up here. We know they're going to be tough. That's no surprise. We got Iowa at Iowa. That's not going to be an easy game either. They're right here. Minnesota is a lot like Northwestern, not great. Luckily, we have that one at home because Minnesota can be a tough place to play. That one you would think should be an easy win, but other teams have thought that and got surprised by Minnesota. So that's gonna be tough. Duke's number 4 in the country. That's of course going to be hard. And of course we have Michigan State to close it out. So Illinois too. We got a tough game. We don't have any cupcakes. Minnesota's the closest thing, but we've seen them upset some teams. So, yeah, I know it's wild. I'm gonna leave. I think we'll leave up the schedule here this time. So yeah, Michigan's gotta keep it together. We got some tough games coming up. Oh yeah, you know what? That just blew my mind during this. I was going to talk about that. That I think that's a really cool opportunity for Mara to show his old team what they're missing out on. So he's going to want to have a big game. Hopefully he can use this newfound aggression, and hopefully he'll work on free throws this week over the next few days so that he can bank them next on Saturday. And yeah, Minnesota has beat 3 ranked teams at home. Yeah, luckily they're coming to the Chrysler Center, but they're a tough team. It's just the Big Ten, even the bottom feeders, they're not your typical bottom feeding teams. They are teams that have a lot of talent and thought they were going to have good years challenging to get in the tournament, and just things didn't work out. But they're not just this easy gimme win. And hopefully Michigan learned that no team is like that. And really the rest of their schedule's tough. Then in the Big Ten tournament, they're going to get a bye, so they're going to have to play a tough team. And then in the NCAA tournament, you can't sleep on anybody. So hopefully this was the last lesson they have to learn, because now they got tough games. And here we go. We're in it. We're in it now. Um, yeah, that's true. Um, Football, yeah, you know it is. It's you play well. I mean, I guess that once in a while you get those upsets in football, but usually football, if you have that cupcake on your schedule, then it's going to be a pretty easy win. But in basketball, it's just there's just so many things that go into it, right? You just the other team gets on a little run, their shots are falling, they get confident, the crowd gets into it, especially on the road, and then all of a sudden you're in a dogfight, and it's hard to get momentum back. Whereas football, I mean, it's got to happen quick. It's got to happen early on. If a cupcake is going to come in and be a Cinderella story, they got to come in and have some crazy stuff happen pretty quickly to get you on the ropes and get the crowd out of it, because you're not going. Michigan's not going to. I mean, the Big Ten, I guess they do, but Michigan's not going to a MAC team's stadium to play. And even if they did, it'd probably be mostly Michigan fans. Whereas basketball, fans will show out and get loud, and those places get rocking. And that's something about basketball. I went. I'm in North Carolina, and a friend invited me to go to the Charlotte Hornets Detroit Pistons game. Which, if you're a Pistons fan, you know what happened during that game. But I mean, even in the NBA, that it's like that. That place was rocking. They were going crazy, and it gives the players so much more confidence. And it's a different beast. Basketball is, for sure. I agree. But hey, again, Michigan won. They won. Just win, baby. 23-1, 13-1 in the Big Ten. They won 87-75. Again, my game ball goes to LJ Kaysen. He's a player that I love, and I was bummed that kind of for a stretch there he was not making a big impact and not getting a lot of playing time. And tonight he stepped up and he showed us again all the talent that he has, and he was just fantastic. It was fun to watch. He did awesome. Yeah, I agree there too. Which is crazy when you think about there's 300 teams, and even in the tournament, and we've seen so many times you get those 1 versus 16 upsets. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but uh, yeah, there's just so much more parity. I mean, there's teams that are always good, and there's teams that separate themselves, like Michigan and Arizona, but Michigan almost got beat tonight, and Arizona just lost to a not a top 5 team. So, Michigan can learn a lot from this, and hopefully they will. I just noticed my shirt and my where it says my name is like almost the exact same color. Just blends right in there. So hopefully Michigan learns a lesson from this, because they need to, and I think they will. If they had maybe started off just the first few minutes that it was rough, and then they ran away with it, they wouldn't. But I think they'll learn from it. Um, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that too. Yeah, that's true. Kaysen was a FAU commit, and then followed Dusty May. That's right. And thank goodness he did, because he saved our bacon tonight. That's for sure. But we needed it. So hopefully, and I mean that's something that I love about Dusty May too, like doing the right thing. Cadeau is a veteran. He's been the main guy, the point guard. He's been playing really well. He had a bad night, and it just wasn't getting better. So what does he do? He puts Kaysen in. Kaysen's making plays, doing what he should do. So he rides it with him, and I think that's what a good coach can do. You make those good choices, and Cadeau's fired up for Kaysen, and that they're going to win. He's not sitting on the sideline with a towel over his head, mad that he's not playing. And that's what I love about this team too, is they have one collective goal, and that's to win a ship, Big Ten and national championship, and they know their roles. And if they're not doing the job and someone else is doing better, then that's okay. They're all about it. They just want to win. So that's always good to see, especially in basketball, when sometimes it can be an individual sport. The higher the competition gets, the higher the level gets. So I like that. I liked seeing Cadeau pumped up for Kaysen and getting fired up on the sidelines, even though he wasn't in the game and that he wasn't having a great night. Sometimes it's just not your night. So hopefully he can learn from it too. But yeah, I am excited to see how this team responds against UCLA, against a good team. We'll see. We'll see. They need to come out hot. They need to come out firing, and not start off slow. We do not need to see that pattern repeat itself where they start out slow, because it is going to bite them in the butt eventually. And we're getting too close to tournament time to be worrying about losing because of self-inflicted dumb stuff when they have so much potential to go on a run and bring that national championship home. So yeah, it's a late one, guys. So we'll probably wrap it up here. I'll yak for a couple more minutes, but again, this is an awesome turnout for being so late at night. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. But throw anything in the chat if you want to talk about anything, shout anything out. But yeah, Trey Donaldson, he was. I really enjoyed watching him play too. And he was one that never really would score a bunch, but he was really good with assist turnover ratio and all that kind of stuff. You could count on him, but he could get hot once in a while. But yeah, I do miss him. I was bummed when he left, but I'm sure it was a good move for him. He had his reasons. So, but I think if Kaysen can be that steady when Cadeau's having trouble, or Cadeau can be steady when Kaysen's having trouble, or they can both be steady and neither have trouble. They're both really good, so we'll be all right. We just need one of them to be able to keep turnovers down and run the offense. As long as one of them can be on, we're going to be all right. So we will see. We will see how it goes. Looking forward to that UCLA game. We need to come out hot, come out firing, and we'll see if this team can do it. Because that was something we didn't see after the Wisconsin loss and the close call at Penn State. It took them a few games. They had bad first halves and would turn it up in the second half and run away with the games. And I want to see them just play a full game and just come out firing, And if the shots aren't falling, that's okay. Like I said, they don't need them to. If they play their game, they're going to find other ways to build a lead. And then when the shots start falling from the outside, they're going to run away with it. But if they're not, if they're sloppy, turning the ball over, missing free throws, not sharing the ball, taking poor shots, and not playing good defense, bleh, it's going to be like it was tonight. J Money, what's up, man? Well, if we play like this, we're definitely not winning against Duke. But if we play like we have in our perfect games where we played 40 minutes of good ball, then yes, they definitely can beat Duke. But like this, heck no. It'll be an embarrassment if they play like this against Duke. At least how they played the first 30 minutes. So we'll see. That's gonna be a fun one. For sure. I can't wait for that one to see what we're made of against another top 5 team. They keep proving us, they keep knocking down what gets set up before them. Every time that they have to rise to the occasion and prove they're that team, they keep doing it. They don't always do it in a pretty way, but they keep doing it. Just win. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Make sure my kids are all still sleeping and didn't sneak out of bed to try to stay awake. But thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Again, Michigan defeats Northwestern somehow by 12 points, 87-75, after losing, after trailing by as many as 16 and trailing 80% of the game, pretty much. Michigan goes on a huge run down the stretch, pulls away, wins in convincing fashion, but the other 30 minutes of the game, not so convincing. So they have some things to iron out, but hey, they're at 13-1 in the Big Ten, 2-game cushion, 23-1. Dusty May, second quickest Big Ten coach to get to 50 wins with his new team. Things are good. We just got to iron out the wrinkles so that we're ready for this gauntlet that we have coming up. They play UCLA on Saturday. I'll be sure to do a post-game live after that, and maybe a live during the game. I would love to do that. It's going to work out one of these times, but for sure we'll do this, so keep an eye out for that. I know. I was thinking of that, like if I'll say it here. If Michigan basketball or football, whoever does it, wins the national championship, I will dye my hair blue. I should see if there's a filter and just do it in my videos just because it's the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Do a little maize, half blue. I'll dye it if Michigan wins the ship. Heck yeah, that'd be fun. So you heard it here. Brian, J Money, Cub Kid, you guys remind me. I'll dye it if we win the ship. That'd be awesome. All right, everybody. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Blue and yellow. I'll do maize and blue. So let's hope they win. That'd be awesome. All right, everybody. Have a good night. I will see you in the next video. Again, Michigan defeats Northwestern 87-75. 23-1 overall, 13-1 the Big Ten. Next game Saturday versus UCLA. It's going to be a big game to start off a gauntlet stretch for Michigan to end the season. So I'll see you in the next video. And until I do, have a fantastic rest of your night or fantastic rest of your day if you're watching this on replay, which I appreciate you as well. But until I see you in the next one, as always, go blue.